Hello viewers, welcome to Core for Any. If you hear new, hit subscribe buttons and notification bell so you can never miss any our incredible content. Angular taxi backends inside. Today we need to create here the two service. First of all the web service and main socket service need to today develop here the need to calls here the front end to backend the API calling and to backend Node.js servers are the response some data or and displaying here the inside the Angular. First of all, needs here the interactions between the front ends between the Node.js servers need to create here the service. First of all, need to create here the opens here the terminals and to give this here command ng S means service and to give this here the service name as a web service like this, creating here the two files web service like this, creating here, and then after another service we need to develop here the main socket like this, give this here the name main socket like this, create another service. First of all, needs here the installs inside the package sessions, need to install here. Now need to give this here the names for the another API for the TypeScript. Installs here the ng add at the rate, need to give this here the socket IO like this, importing here and to give this here the yes. And now this is the packagings are the installing here. Now here the installs, also need to configure here the sockets inside the AngularJS and to configure here this sockets IO. Do this like here. Wants me to set this here the socket IO underscore clients and socket IO parsers, need to put this here and like this saves here the JSON files and to set this here. Now this is our the configures here the sockets, and now need to go here the import these modules as providers and to give this here the web service like this give here, and another's are the main socket service, need to set like these parameters here and to save this here like this, importing here the needs here the give this here the define the providers. Now need to go here and to write down here the service constructors, need to write down here the service related. First of all, so need to define here the some constructors value. First of all, need to set this here as a private and to give this here the HTTP and to set this here the HTTP clients like this, sets here the constructors. And now need to create here the one method, the actions methods, need to develop this here and to set here some parameters like this sets here. First of all, also need to set this here the service name, means the API names like this, sets here the service name like this here passed as a string. And then after we need to pass this here the service parameters like this, give here the any parameters like this, and also need to check this here the is token service like this, set this here the need file from the tokens needs or not like this, here the set one parameters as a tokens is equal to by default give this here the false value like this sets here. And now need to check here the if this token service at this sets here else parts not tokens, need to return this here the this dot http dots, we need to call this here the post methods, and to write down here the use this here the service names, we need to pass this here service name like this sets. Also need to set this here the second parameters are the parameters, we need to pass this here, and to call this here the to promise methods, need to call this here like this sets here, and also need to return this here, and to calls here the this dot here http post methods, so need to set this here, and to give this here the service names. Then after need to set here the parameters, also need to give this here the brackets inside the headers value, need to set this here, then to create here the new headers http headers like this give here, and to insert set this here the some variables as a access tokens, and to now need to pass here the blank because we do not save inside the any place, that's why I need to set here blank. And now need to call this here the to promise methods, so need to call this here, that's here promise like this sets here, so I need to call this API like this. And to create here the common service class, we need to develop for here the web servicing calls inside two calls, give this request inside the node servers, and node servers can return the here response, and we need to use this response and to present inside the UI like this. We need to calling this API, and now need to create here the sockets IO inside. We need to create some like this common structures, we need to develop this here for the sockets IO. First of all, you need to set here the some public variables for defining here. First of all, you need to set this here as a public. Give this here the socket is equal to give this here the IO, and to first of all the needs here the defining this library here the imports, and to give this here the names as a IO is passed from. Give this here the package names as the socket IO like this, past this years. Then after the imports here, the common from not commons, maybe installs here the sockets IO libs. Sockets IO. Sets here forms when get this here errors. Now need to write down here socket URLs, need to pass like here http colons, and to this here the give this here the any ports like this sets here the URLs. And now need to set this here the common URLs here the public, and to that here id equal to blank like this sets here these constructors, and to initialize this socket dot use here the socket, and to call here the on methods, and to give this here the connect methods, need to call this here, and to return here the callbacks events. Now we need to set here the this dot here the sockets id is equal to this dot sockets dot id like this gets here the value, and to pass this here. Also need to create here the another methods here and to here this dot socket dot on, and to give this here the event names as a disconnect. Here let's call back events. This here function operators like this sets and console dot log, print this here the disconnect like this sets here. And another methods need to develop this here the it methods, give this here the service, this here the any, and to pass this data as a any sets it. Now need to call these methods as a socket dot meet, and to this here the service names as we need to pass here the data like sets here. Now we need to on methods need to this here the service, pass here data type as a any, and to data as we need to pass this here the functions at this here calls, and to call this here the this dot on socket dot on, and to call this here the service at data like this calls here, and to convert these functions here, and to fix this here the issue. Oops. Need to remove this here at select. Now this is the fix this here and two typo here. This is socket IO related to relations, and to protect here remove one space. Like these connections are the sets here, and also need to create here the main service in web service inside. Need to create here the observable actions. Need to create, give this here the actions observable, copy this here first of all and this here change format this text here return, and to this here so inside miss functions, and after need to set this here the report progress. So need to set this here the true, and then after so need to set this here observable as a event like this sets. Also need to copy this here these parameters, and to this here like set, and to this is the functions are the observables. Need to set this here like this events need to call this here, and to save these files, and this is our the two service are creating done. If you like this video, please give the thumbs up. If you new user, so please subscribe my channels and press the notification bell icon. You can get every new video notifications and awesome content. If you have any question, so please write down in the comment sections. I will help you and sort out your issue. Everyone have a nice day. Goodbye and take care.